decade on from their crimes, Andrew and Myuran are changed men. They are deeply committed to a new path. Both men are paying their debt to society. With dedication and unwavering commitment, they are improving and enriching the lives of their fellow prisoners. Andrew's completed a theology degree in prison. As a pastor, he now provides religious counselling and guidance to fellow inmates. On the day he received the President's rejection of his clemency application, Andrew's Australian lawyer, Julian McMahon, said that Andrew was nowhere to be found. For even at this moment of undeniable personal anguish, Andrew had taken time out to comfort a fellow inmate who was seriously ill. Myuran, referred to by many as the gentle giant, has nearly completed a fine arts degree in jail. He's had the opportunity to become an accomplished artist. His raw talent recognised and fostered by his friend and mentor, renowned artist Ben Quilty. The families of these two young Australian men have spoken openly and in heartbreaking terms of their hopes for a stay of execution. When I met both families in January, they told me of the excruciating daily burden they bear, knowing their children, their siblings, face an untimely and violent end. Raji Sukumara and her other children, Chintu and Brinta, spoke of the devastation Myuran's fate had wrought on their family. Helen and Michael Chan pleaded for Andrew to be given a second chance. When I spoke to the families who were in Jakarta by phone this week, they told me how it was virtually impossible to be strong for each other, how it was unbearable for them to see their sons, their brothers, not knowing if it would be their last time. How could anyone not be moved by their heartbreaking pleas for mercy? The government stands resolutely with both families. After all, Australia is only doing what Indonesia is doing, making representations on behalf of Indonesian families in support of Indonesian death row prisoners abroad.
I perhaps have a particular view on remorse and redemption because of experiences in my own life. In 1988, my husband left prison after being charged and convicted of a similar crime to these young men. And I imagine what would have happened if he'd been caught in Thailand instead of in Australia, where that crime was committed, where he was coming back to Australia. And I think about, I didn't know him at the time, this is 30 years ago. What would the world have missed out on? Well, they would have missed out on the 3 beautiful children that we've had together. They would have missed out on a man who spent the rest of his life making amends for the crime that he committed. And I have another perspective on this too. In 1997, I lost my brother to a violent crime in Port Moresby. And I know that if I had been the one making the decision about the punishment of the person who did that crime, I couldn't have thought of a punishment bad enough. That's why we don't make decisions about punishment on the basis of how we feel, but on the basis of universal, consistently applied rules.